step into the world of the Superpro podcast, where we lay out the blueprints of home service excellence. Join us as we break down the wins and struggles of pros who are at the top of their game. Put their wisdom into practice as you build your company's success. Today, Roland Lightingberg, co-founder of Housecall Pro, talks with Melissa Ortiz, co-owner of the Little Guys Heating and Air Conditioning. Melissa walks through the journey of starting and growing a business thanks to her husband's passion for the trade. She lays out some of the challenges they faced, along with the importance of branding, managing seasonal demand, and hiring good techs. She also shares the value of continuous learning and training in the HVAC industry for her team of 5. Software and continuous training have played key roles for this family-owned business, serving their community for more than 25 years. The Superpro podcast is brought to you by Housecall Pro, the leading platform for the home service industry. Housecall Pro streamlines your workflows and simplifies everything from scheduling and dispatching to communication and billing. Join more than 40,000 home service pros who have already revolutionized their businesses. Work smarter with streamlined workflows, get organized with centralized information, and scale your business. Learn more at housecallpro.com. Let's dive into today's episode and uncover the secrets to success in the home service industry.
Hi, everybody. This is Roland Lightenberg. I'm one of the co-founders of Housecall Pro. We are on the Superpro podcast. We have the honor of talking to Melissa today. Melissa is online with us. She is one of the owners of Little Guys HVAC. Tell us a little bit about your business, Melissa. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. So we are the Little Guys Heating and Air Conditioning. We're located in Manteca, California. We're right in between Stockton and Modesto. We're just a small company. We've got 3 technicians, myself, and an office assistant. My husband is one of those technicians. So we're still a very small business, just kind of, as you can see, working out of our home. Currently, we're looking for a business or a brick and mortar kind of building that we can work out of, since we're growing still.
Nice. Tell me, how did you guys get in the business, you and your husband? Where did it start? Who had the idea? What was the genesis story?
My husband has been doing this for a little over 25 years, and he just kind of fell in love with it. He's had a passion for it since he started doing it, and he wanted to eventually get out on his own. So after I filled out the application for the 3rd time, he finally decided that it was time to do it. All of his friends who were a little bit younger than him, and they went out and did it themselves, got their license first, and he decided, okay, now's the time to do it. So he did it. He got his license, and we took it from there. And so far, everything has been great. We've been thriving and growing. And of course, being my husband, I followed him into it, and we've been doing great ever since.
So you've been on board right since day one. Like, you were the one that was like, hey, let's do this. And then finally he was like, all right, we're doing it. And so you both jumped ship. You both went into this full-time entrepreneurial endeavor together right out of day one.
Yes, right out of day one. It took a lot of convincing, and eventually after that 3rd application, it was like, okay, let's get it done. It's time.
And so tell me a little bit. Now you've got a couple other technicians, a couple other trucks that are out there. How are people hearing about you guys? How are you finding new business? Where are people finding Little Guys Heating and Air Conditioning?
Some of them are referrals. A lot of them we get just from Google itself. We have a lot of, not to brag, we have a lot of 5-star reviews. So
171 right now. Like, it's a lot, and it's a perfect 5-star.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The Housecall Pro review feature has been great for us. So thank you for that. So yeah, a lot of them are referrals, word of mouth, and just kind of finding us on Google. We do a little bit of marketing through postcards. We did initially start with Yelp marketing through them, and that's kind of how we started everything.
That's how it started, and then the ball got rolling. So you've got technicians now that are helping out on the field. Where did you find the technicians? How did you start growing your team? I feel like a lot of pros are always like, I don't know if I can find someone else that does it as good as me. How are you guys able to do it?
That's very much my husband's mentality, actually. But one of them, he was hired about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. He's a friend of my husband's, and he's been wonderful. One we found, I believe it was on ZipRecruiter.com, and he's been working for us for only about 3-4 months now, and he's been great as well.
Nice. And when you guys were coming up with your name for the company, whose idea was it to name it Little Guys, and what's the meaning behind Little Guys Heating and Air?
So it was a family kind of decision. My husband, the company that he worked for prior to starting the business, had a little worker guy on the truck. And so my husband would come home and tell my daughter that it was just the little worker guy. And so initially we were going to name the company the Little Worker Guy. And we decided to kind of collapse that down to the Little Guys, because I felt like the Little Worker Guy sounded kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to just go with the Little Guys. We felt that it was important to have the apostrophe in there. She was also obsessed with apostrophes. She was 3 or 4 years old. And so she was just kind of learning what everything was. So we made sure to throw the apostrophe in there. And then the actual little guy itself, we had him created to look a little bit like our son.
I like it. Yeah. In the logo itself. I think good branding goes such a long way, and I really like the story behind that. And it's very memorable. You know, if someone were to tell me, "Oh, the Little Guys," that would stick right away in my mind. And I feel like that's a really important marketing element that I don't know if enough pros spend enough time really thinking about, rather than maybe just using like a last name or like Joe's HVAC. You know, and there's a time and a place, but I really like the direction you guys took, and that's super clever, and I'm sure that's really helpful in terms of your word of mouth marketing.
Yeah, we have a lot of customers who really like the name, and it's a great story to tell them how we came up with that name too.
Yeah, people love stories. People definitely love stories, and then they buy into that. And I also think like Little Guys, like I would rather want Little Guys like at my place than some like big guys corporate thing, you know? And so I think just that perception of having that small kind of hometown feel, even though it's not small anymore, you guys have 5 people, that's the kind of people that I want to do business with, because I know they'll honor and really do good work.
Yeah. And we live in a community where people really value that. They value a family kind of business like that.
That makes a lot of sense. From just like a business standpoint, where do you guys kind of see yourself in the next couple of years? Are you guys in growth stage? Are you looking to add more trucks? Are you looking to become more efficient? How are you guys kind of thinking about that, at least in the short term future here?
In the next couple of years, we're hoping to add a couple more guys. I would like a little bit more help in the office. Right now, she's doing great. She's handling all of our marketing for us. But definitely another couple of technicians, couple of trucks, to get everything done that we need to, especially during summertime when it's our busiest time.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys are slammed right now. So thanks for taking the time during some of the busy summer months. I don't know what temperature it is, but it's been hot in California for sure this summer, which is good for business. Good for business, I guess. But how do you think about that when you're like, okay, I need more people in the summertime, but then in the shoulder season, I don't need as many people. Do you think hiring like temporary work or temporary help to kind of accommodate for that demand is important? Or do you just shift people's focus from, selling replacements to more like repair, maintenance, maybe like service plans or memberships? Do you guys offer that? And how does that all kind of fit together?
So we do have like a maintenance agreement or service agreement, and that's the big guys maintenance agreement. So that keeps us busy year round. As far as how we hire, we do have seasonal employees who we keep on for summertime. And then we have a lot of commercial business that keeps us busy throughout the year as well, because those are for a maintenance plan. Those are quarterly visits. So that helps to keep us busy during our slow season.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. I think definitely if you're in the HVAC space, but even in some of the other mechanical trades, plumbing, like to the extent you can offer, maintenance agreements, memberships, service agreements, service plans, there's lots of many different ways to kind of pitch that marketing lingo. But the fact is being able to have that recurring work, irrespective of increase of just like the consumer side demand, is really important during those shoulder seasons. And that's a good tip. And I don't think enough pros are taking that seriously, especially as they're trying to get up there in size. Because once you get employees, you got to keep them busy. And it's a constant seesaw of like, get enough work, keep them busy. Oh, too much work, you find more people. And it's, it keeps going back and forth like that.
Yeah, it's definitely a balancing act for sure.
Yeah. What are some things that now that you wish you did when you started Little Guys?
Wow, there's a few. There's always going to be disagreements when you go into business with your spouse.
That's good advice. Yeah.
Be careful who you hire. Sometimes you hire the wrong person, and you just be slow to hire, quick to fire.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a very important thing to remember.
Mm-hmm.
So those are probably the two most important that come to mind.
Yeah, I think, working with your spouse, that is like an interesting dynamic between, when are you in like, relationship mode, when are you in business mode, and how do you like keep those things from affecting one another? I think that's tough. And I think a lot of our pros are in a similar situation with their spouses, it's similar to the way that you and your husband started the business together. Lots of our pros start businesses together with their spouses because it just makes sense. And you work it together, and that's the easiest way to start. And then, slow to hire, quick to fire. I think culture is super important. And, it's obviously you guys have tons of 5-star reviews. It's because you've got good culture, good people working for you. And I think that reflection on your brand is ultimately what helps you drive your growth. So I know that some people are like, oh my God, I need more people. But if you put a wrong person in there, that could be toxic. You could make the actual great employees that you have angry and make them want to leave, which is absolutely the wrong way to do it.
Very, very much.
Yeah. Well, tell me a little bit about how you see software playing into the mix, into your business. What was like the moment when you're like, aha, we got to use software at this point. Like we got to do it this way. We got to be organized. Was it from the get-go? Did you do it a little bit into the business? Like, what was that painful moment that you're like, all right, we need to do this way now?
So we knew initially that we needed some sort of software. Mm-hmm. We needed to be able to invoice our customers. But we didn't realize we didn't know exactly how we were going to dispatch. When we started, it was kind of just inputting things into my husband's schedule on his phone and saying, hey, you're going to this address. Once we discovered Housecall Pro, it made everything so much easier for us. We were able to dispatch and do all of our invoicing in one place. So, and then now that we are growing the way that we are, it's been such a huge help. We can see in the office who's going where at what time. So it's been a tremendous help for us. Without software, I wouldn't be able to do payroll. I wouldn't be able to do their time cards and things like that.
Yeah, I think early on, sometimes people are like, oh, I can maybe use Google Calendar, but then pretty quickly, using 4 different things, all up doing the same thing becomes a lot of extra effort. And you should be looking at things all in one. And I hear that a lot from a lot of pros that are like, yeah, I wanted something that can do all the things in it rather than like using all these different tools because it was just getting messy. It was just getting messy.
Very much, yeah.
Mm-hmm. You guys use our expense cards quite a bit. Tell me a little bit about how you use them, like kind of maybe what are the rules? I think there's a lot of pros that might not even know that we have that as something that we offer via Housecall Pro. But how does that work in your company? What are the rules and how did you set that up?
So I have an expense card for the office expenses, for fuel, things like that. The technicians have them for parts if they need to go to an outside parts store that it's not really a distributor, just Home Depot, Ace Hardware, the technicians have a limit on their cards just because there's no reason for them to be spending more than a certain amount at another store that's not a distributor for us. And then my husband has one, and as the owner, obviously he doesn't have a limit on his card either. But a lot of times it's used for mainly fuel and just extra parts for them to keep on their truck, or a part that they need for a specific job. That's really helped us a lot.
Yeah, I think our ultimate goal there is to help it tie into like job costing and being able to really understand like the amount of COGS, right, that go into any given job. So you can really start to determine kind of the net profit of the job and get that job costing dialed in. The ability to upload receipts, all those things are definitely kind of on the roadmap and in our minds as we're continuing to develop on that feature. Is there anything in particular that you feel is like just a really underrated feature of Housecall Pro, something that like doesn't get enough attention, but you think other pros should definitely be using or should know about?
Definitely Housecall Pro VoIP. I think that it is underutilized by a lot of people. I know that there's a few people who use Housecall Pro Assist, but along with that, the VoIP is so easy. It's so nice to have with Housecall Pro Assist. You know, sometimes you'll have to request the recordings, but with VoIP, you just have them right there at your hands. Just a click of a button. And with VoIP, you also have the ability for the technicians in the field to call your customer and mask their cell phone numbers so that the customer doesn't get a hold of their cell phone numbers and contact them during off hours. So it's definitely an underutilized tool, I think.
Yeah, I think call masking in particular is useful for, you know, folks maybe in other industries too. There might be higher employee turnover, but also, you know, you want to shield your employees from getting those like late night calls, you know, from customers when really you should be the one that's handling it, and that maybe someone else is on call for that weekend or for those night jobs or emergency jobs, or your husband, maybe you dispatch him out for those late ones.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And call masking works great for that because, you know, when your guys and gals dial out, then it shows that office number, right? That one unified number versus all these random numbers that the customer might get confused by.
Yeah, it's been very helpful for our technicians out in the field. So it's worked wonders for us.
That's really great to hear. Do you have any nuggets or wisdom, like things that you think other people should do that you think, you know, if only you had done this last year, you know, it would have saved you a world of hurt?
Training. I don't think you can ever train enough, whether it's just training through the Housecall Pro program or outside training. I know we use Contractors University, and it's been a huge blessing for us to have those resources available. I don't think that you should ever stop training. There's always something available. And with the HVAC industry changing constantly and the laws and regulations changing, there's always something new to learn.
I think that's really, really good advice. There's always something new to learn, and always be learning mindset and seeking wisdom out there because it's out there. It'll only make you better. That's super helpful. Thank you so much for taking time out of your guys' busy summer to chat with me on here, Melissa, and really appreciate your guys' partnership and you guys picking Housecall Pro as your partner on the software side.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Take care, Melissa.
Thanks. Bye.